Blackhead prevention usually works best when it is gentle, consistent, and realistic, because blackheads tend to form slowly when oil, dead skin cells, sweat, leftover product, and ordinary daily friction collect in the opening of the pore over time. So the smartest goal is not to attack the skin, but to keep it calmer, cleaner, and less congested without creating fresh irritation. A simple routine is often more effective than an exciting one. Cleanse the face in the morning and again at night with a mild cleanser and lukewarm water, because very hot water can strip the skin barrier and leave the face feeling tight, dry, and more reactive. Use your fingertips rather than rough scrubs, abrasive washcloths, or stiff cleansing brushes, because blackhead-prone skin usually responds better to calm handling than to aggressive rubbing. If you sweat after exercise, yard work, housework, hot weather, or a long day under sunscreen and makeup, it helps to rinse or cleanse the skin as soon as practical, because sweat mixed with oil and residue can sit on the skin and add to that heavy clogged feeling. Avoid squeezing, scraping, pinching, digging, or trying to force blackheads out at home, because that often causes more redness, swelling, irritation, lingering marks, and regret than the original blackheads ever caused. Choose non-comedogenic products whenever possible, including moisturizer, sunscreen, makeup, and hair products, especially if your hair touches your forehead, temples, or cheeks. A lightweight moisturizer can help because skin that becomes too dry often becomes irritated, and irritated skin makes people impatient, and impatient people are exactly the ones most likely to stand too close to a bathroom mirror and start making decisions they would not defend the next morning. If you use over-the-counter acne care, it is usually smarter to begin slowly with one well-chosen active ingredient instead of layering several strong treatments at once. Salicylic acid may help keep pores clearer, and adapalene may help reduce clogged pores over time, but patience matters more than panic. Improvement usually comes from steady use over time, not from one dramatic weekend of treating your face like a chemistry experiment. Remove makeup before bed. Change pillowcases regularly. Clean the things that touch the face often, like phone screens, eyeglass frames, hat bands, and helmet straps. Keep heavier oils and styling products away from acne-prone skin when you can. Try not to rest your face in your hands for long stretches while reading, thinking, worrying, driving, scrolling, or politely listening to a story that should have ended 15 minutes ago. Stress management matters too, not because stress alone causes every blackhead, but because stress often leads to poor sleep, rushed cleansing, more face touching, more picking, skipped routines, and the kind of late-night bathroom behavior that always feels strangely productive until daylight arrives with a very different opinion. Diet does not need to become a courtroom trial, but hydration, regular meals, moderation, and decent sleep support better daily habits overall. If blackheads are stubborn, widespread, mixed with inflamed acne, or simply not improving despite a sensible routine, professional guidance may save time and frustration. Prevention is rarely glamorous. It usually looks like repeating calm habits, reducing friction, choosing products the skin can tolerate, and remembering that steady care beats dramatic interference most of the time. And that same principle, the principle that not every small annoyance needs to be squeezed, poked, overmanaged, or turned into a full emotional weather system, would have saved Norman Earl Baxter of Cedar Ridge Commons in Tennessee a remarkable amount of social embarrassment if anyone had explained it to him before the annual Senior Picnic Talent Raffle accidentally drafted him into a one-man dramatic reading of a cowboy romance novel in front of 92 people, 2 church deacons, a pair of cousins from Tulsa, and a folding fan audience that had not laughed that hard since the peach cobbler judging controversy of 2019. Norman was 78 years old, retired after 43 years as a county records clerk, and so committed to order that he once arranged the canned soup shelf in his pantry by both label color and probable weather usefulness. He lived with his wife, Donna, in a tan brick duplex with white railings, a little porch swing, and a narrow hallway lined with family photos, church directories, and one framed certificate from 1986, thanking him for outstanding calm under filing pressure. Donna was 75, a retired choir accompanist with quick eyes, silver curls, and the rare ability to make corrections sound like hospitality. She loved Norman in the seasoned, amused, unshaken way that only 53 years of marriage can produce. Norman was a good man, a reliable man, a man who always brought jumper cables, mints, spare reading glasses, and opinions to every situation, whether requested or not. Cedar Ridge Commons was one of those American retirement communities where people complained about being too busy while actively creating the schedule that exhausted them. There was chair yoga on Mondays, cards on Tuesdays, hymn sing on Wednesdays, puzzle exchange on Thursdays, movie night on Fridays, and in the warm months, there were regular themed picnics on the grassy common behind the clubhouse, complete with lawn chairs, coolers, citronella candles, potluck tables, and harmless competitions that were somehow taken far too seriously by people who insisted they were only there for fellowship. Every summer, the biggest of these was the red, white, and blue senior picnic, a patriotic afternoon with potato salad, lemonade, beanbag toss, bingo under the shade tent, and a raffle wheel where winners drew slips assigning them silly little contributions to the entertainment hour. Normally these were harmless things: tell a joke, sing a line of an old song, read a short poem, wear the novelty hat, or announce the dessert table. It was a system specifically designed to encourage participation without giving anyone time to resist. That design detail, as Donna had often said, was exactly why it was dangerous. Norman hated surprise participation. He believed public enjoyment should come with written notice, a clear objective, and at least moderate rehearsal. His closest friends at Cedar Ridge were Raymond Sloan, 79, retired auto body shop owner, half-deaf and fully pleased with it; Mabel Green, 73, former church treasurer, sharp as a paring knife wrapped in cardigan fabric; and Cliff Haney, 81, widower, retired school bus driver, proud wearer of suspenders, and owner of a laugh that sounded like furniture shifting in a cheerful room. Trouble began at the planning breakfast the week before the picnic, when the social committee met in the clubhouse with muffins, coffee, paper plates, and enough clipboards to signal danger. The committee chair, a widow named Frances Bellamy, stood at the front under the fluorescent lights, wearing a navy blouse with little stars on it and the look of a woman who could organize both a parade and a weather delay before lunch. Frances was 69, formerly a bank manager, and completely immune to hesitation in others. "We'll have the raffle wheel back this year," she announced. "Everybody draws. Nobody gets out of it. That's where half the fun comes from." Norman, seated beside Donna with a blueberry muffin he no longer trusted, muttered, "That is not how fun should be described by adults." Donna smiled without turning her head. "That is because you think fun should be cataloged." He was about to answer when Raymond leaned over and asked too loudly, "You bringing the sound cards?" Norman, who had helped alphabetize last year's lyric sheets and still regretted the recognition, waved one hand and said, "Sure, if nobody else is foolish enough." Frances looked up immediately. "Wonderful, Norman. Then you can also help with the reading basket." Norman froze. "No." Frances blinked at him. "No what?" No to whatever category of volunteering just attached itself to that sentence. Frances smiled. It's simple. Some of the raffle slips will involve reading a few lines from old books or magazines. You have a good voice and you don't mumble. Mabel, from 2 chairs away, said. He also sounds authoritative even when wrong. Great casting. Cliff laughed into his napkin. Donna lowered her eyes and let the moment pass across her face like good weather. By noon, Frances had put Norman's name beside reading basket captain on the committee sheet. He protested twice, once on principle and once on grammar, but clipboards have more legal force in retirement communities than men are prepared to admit. The following Saturday, the picnic dawned sunny, hot, and determined. The common lawn behind the clubhouse looked like a postcard written by people who believed in bunting. There were red tablecloths, blue paper lanterns, a lemonade station, a banner over the dessert table, folding chairs in rows, facing a little makeshift platform of wooden risers, and a giant raffle wheel painted like a carnival target. Children of visiting families ran through the grass with sparklers made of ribbon streamers. Somebody tuned a portable radio. Somebody else forgot the ketchup. The whole scene smelled like sunscreen, mowed grass, deviled eggs, and optimism. Norman wore khaki shorts, a tucked-in polo, deck shoes, and the deep inward resignation of a man who knew he was one clipboard away from bad luck. Frances handed him a wicker basket, filled with little paper slips for the entertainment hour. Just help the winners read their prompts if they need it, she said. That's all, Norman repeated, which in long marriage Donna recognized as his voice. For I already know this will become worse. For the first hour, the picnic proceeded beautifully. People ate, people gossiped. Raymond lost at beanbag toss and claimed the grass was sitting funny. Mabel won bingo and looked neither surprised nor humble. Cliff told a story about his first bus route that somehow involved a goat, a trombone, and no clear lesson. Norman relaxed a little. He helped one lady find the reading glasses she had placed on top of her head. He straightened the raffle slips when the wind shifted them. He even admitted, privately, that the potato salad was competent. Then entertainment hour began. Frances rolled the raffle wheel to the front, rang a little brass bell she absolutely did not need, and called everyone to the lawn chairs. All right, folks, time for our annual moment of harmless public risk, she said. Norman muttered. That is not reassuring language. Donna patted his wrist. Hush and suffer gracefully. The first few raffle slips were exactly the sort of thing Norman could tolerate from a distance. Mrs. Talbot drew tell a joke and delivered a church-safe story about dentures in church that had been circulating since at least 1997. Raymond drew sing one line and bellowed half of "Your cheatin' heart" in a voice that alarmed a squirrel. Mabel drew "Wear the flag hat" and carried it with such straight-backed contempt that the whole audience applauded before she even sat down. Then Cliff spun the wheel, drew a slip, squinted at it, and handed it to Norman. What's this say? Norman unfolded the paper. His face changed. Donna saw it first. What? She whispered. Norman read it again. Dramatic reading. Excerpt provided in reading basket. Cliff nearly dropped his lemonade laughing. Oh, now that's not for me. Frances leaned in. If he doesn't want it, the basket captain can demonstrate. Norman's head snapped up. No. Frances smiled sweetly. I project only under protest. But the room had already heard enough. People were clapping. Cliff was waving the slip at the crowd like a campaign ribbon. Frances, all calm efficiency, plucked a paperback from the reading basket and handed it to Norman. Page marked. Norman took it as though accepting evidence from an untrustworthy witness. He looked at the cover and went pale. It was a cowboy romance novel from the donated library table, the sort with dramatic typography, a ranch in the background, and a man leaning toward a woman with the general confidence of someone who had never had to compare insurance quotes. Donna looked once at the cover, and immediately had to press her lips together to stop the laugh from escaping too early. "Oh no," she whispered. Norman turned to Francis. "Absolutely not." Francis tapped the page marker. "Only a short passage. This book has shirtless confidence on the cover. That is irrelevant to the reading. It is morally adjacent." The crowd, sensing high-value entertainment, began chanting his name with the chaotic innocence only older Americans and fourth graders can achieve. "Norman! Norman! Norman!" Mabel, traitor to dignity, called out, "Give us the ranch man." Donna put one hand over her mouth and one over her heart. "I am going to remember this forever," she whispered. Norman stepped onto the little wooden platform with the book in one hand and the expression of a man walking toward the edge of a legal cliff. Francis adjusted the microphone for him and murmured, "Read with feeling. That is the exact opposite of what I intend." He looked down at the marked passage and immediately regretted literacy. The excerpt involved a porch, a storm coming over the hills, and a woman named Clara who did not know whether to trust Wade Dawson with either the horses or her heart, which Norman considered a sentence structure offense. He cleared his throat. The audience leaned in. Then he began in the driest possible voice. Clara stood by the porch rail, the dusk settling over the ranch like a secret, too big for her good sense. People started laughing before he reached the second line. He frowned, which only made it worse. He continued. Wade removed his hat slowly, as though the evening itself required respect. At this, Cliff slapped his knee so hard his sunglasses jumped. Raymond was bent over. Even Mabel had tears in her eyes. Norman pressed on, perhaps because at his age, pride often becomes a form of stamina. "You can keep pretending you don't need me, Clara," he read, "but that thunder says different." The whole lawn broke. Francis had to sit down on the cooler. Donna laughed so hard she lost one sandal. But then, somewhere between being trapped and being ridiculous, something unexpected happened. Norman found the rhythm. Not the intended romance rhythm, but his own bone-dry, over-serious county records office rhythm. He started leaning into the absurdity without smiling. He gave Wade the tone of a man filing a permit under protest. He gave Clara the tone of a woman who would absolutely write a complaint letter. The audience howled harder, because now the reading was not just embarrassing. It was art born accidentally in cardigans. The trouble escalated when Francis, seeing the crowd completely lost, whispered from below the platform, "Keep going." Norman looked at her as if she had personally kicked his mailbox. "No, one more page," shouted Raymond. "Long live Wade," cried Cliff. Donna, wiping tears, called out, "Let the thunder speak, Norman." Instead of stopping, he made the strategic error of turning the page to prove how much he was refusing. The next paragraph began even worse, with Clara stepping closer and Wade smelling like cedar, leather, and regret. Norman stared at the words. The audience saw his face and began laughing before he even spoke. "I hate every one of you," he said into the microphone. That line brought the loudest laugh yet. A dog barked from the parking lot. Somewhere behind the lemonade table, a paper plate went airborne. Norman, fully doomed now, lifted his chin and delivered the sentence about cedar, leather, and regret with the moral gravity of a man announcing a property tax increase. People were crying. A visiting cousin from Tulsa, who had no context whatsoever, clutched her chest and gasped, "This is better than church." Francis, shaking with laughter, waved both hands at him like a talent scout who had just discovered a miracle in orthopedic shoes. When the passage finally ended, Norman snapped the book shut and said, "If there is any justice in heaven, that will remain the final paragraph I ever speak in public." The lawn exploded into applause. People stood, not politely, not vaguely. They stood with the full energy of a group that had just been given a story for the next 5 years. Francis leapt up and hugged him before he could escape the platform. "You were magnificent. I was ambushed by cowboy lust in broad daylight, and you rose to the occasion." "No," he said, climbing down. "I survived the occasion, but survival turned out to be the least of it. The rest of the picnic was no longer about beanbag toss or brownies or the raffle basket of local jams. It was about Norman." People came up one by one and asked him to sign the paperback. Mabel requested he read the line about thunder again, with the same warning voice. Raymond said he had never respected literature more. Cliff kept calling him the voice of Wade Dawson, which Norman tried to stop and only made worse. Frances announced from the microphone that next year she would create a special dramatic reading category, which made the crowd cheer, and Norman threatened to move counties. Donna found the entire thing so hilarious, she could barely finish her lemonade. "You know what kills me?" she said when they got home. "No," he muttered. "You sounded exactly like yourself." And somehow that made it even funnier. Norman sat in the kitchen chair, the cowboy paperback still on the table beside him like evidence from a trial. "I did not sound like a cowboy." "No, you sounded like a man issuing a citation to romance. It was wonderful." By Sunday morning, the story had moved through Cedar Ridge and out into the town proper. The church ladies had heard. The barber had heard. The man at the hardware counter said, "Morning, Wade," when Norman came in for deck screws. Cliff left a small toy horse on his porch with a note that read, "Thunder says different." Frances put the paperback in the clubhouse display case under a handwritten card that said, "Once read aloud by Norman Dugan, against his will, to community benefit." Norman considered legal action and took no actual steps because, deep down, he had enjoyed a shameful percentage of it. That was what unsettled him. Not the laughter, not the teasing, the enjoyment. On Monday evening, he and Donna sat on the porch swing with iced tea while the heat settled into a purple Tennessee dusk. Cicadas buzzed, a sprinkler clicked somewhere down the lane. The paperback, which Donna had retrieved from his attempts to hide it in the hall closet, now sat on the table beside the citronella candle like a tiny, foolish relic. Donna looked at it and started laughing again. "What?" Norman asked. "I was just thinking," she said. "You spent years avoiding anything spontaneous, and the moment you got cornered into public foolishness, you were wonderful at it." He took a long drink of tea. "Wonderful is not the word I'd use." "No, but it is the word I'm using." They rocked quietly for a minute. Then Norman said, "Funny thing is, once I realized it had already gone wrong, I stopped trying to preserve myself." Donna nodded. "Yes. And then it got easier." "Yes. I'm not sure I like that lesson. That's because it cost you your afternoon." "And my reputation," Donna smiled. "No, it gave you one." He glanced at the paperback again. "I still maintain Wade Dawson was poorly written." "That may be, but you gave him purpose." Another minute passed. Then Norman said, "You know, it's not so different from skin." Donna turned slowly toward him. "Pardon me, blackheads, same principle. Something small bothers people. They squeeze it, scrub it, pick at it, overreact, make it worse. Better to be gentle, steady, and stop before it turns into a full public reading." Donna laughed so hard her tea nearly tipped. "You have just built a philosophical bridge between cowboy romance and clogged pores. I'm not saying the fields are identical." "No," she said, wiping her eyes. "You are only saying you can learn dermatology from Wade Dawson, which somehow feels illegal." Still true, though. Annoyingly, yes. And maybe that is the real connection between preventing blackheads and surviving ordinary life with your dignity mostly intact. Not every little flaw needs to be attacked. Not every irritation improves under pressure. Not every problem deserves a full emotional campaign, extra handling, or a dramatic response just because it feels urgent in the moment. Sometimes the wiser answer is gentler, slower, steadier, and less theatrical. Clean what needs cleaning. Reduce the friction. Keep the routine simple. Do enough, and then stop. And if the page still opens, if the crowd still laughs, if a cowboy named Wade somehow enters your Sunday picnic and refuses to leave quietly, then laugh too, and let the thing become a story instead of a wound. Norman Dugan never became carefree in any permanent or saintly sense. He still labeled things, still distrusted raffles, and still believed half the world's problems came from people not respecting storage bins. But after the summer, he accidentally became the dramatic voice of a county fair romance novel and discovered that public foolishness, while not ideal, was survivable and sometimes even joyful. He carried his dignity a little looser, his wife's amusement a little more gratefully, and his own urge to overmanage with much less authority than before. For a man like Norman, that was real progress, and for Cedar Ridge Commons, it was even better because it became one of those stories older Americans tell over pie, iced tea, potato salad, and folding chairs. A story about marriage, embarrassment, laughter, literature, and the comforting truth that people can still surprise themselves long after they think every usable part of their character has already been labeled, sorted, and filed away.